is like, I think somehow I'm not able to explain, but it's like, what you are doing it here, what you are doing it here, something like that, right? Just to think about yourself, what you want to do, like just peacefully thinking about your existence, kind of thing, right? Something like that.
Yeah, you're very
Yeah,
close. Yeah, exactly.
and then is this also about like why you think, why you do what you do, like what motivates you, what inspires you, what has been your journey like? It's just about knowing yourself better and uh,
Yeah,
yeah, and then just your actions and emotions.
yeah, exactly what you said. Knowing yourself. Yeah, yeah. Who we are, what
Yeah.
we are at it. Yeah,
Yeah, this
yeah,
is Shweta. Sorry I joined a little late, but the way I would think, and if I put myself like many years back, when things are happening, like you question, why it's happening this way, that way. And, as you learn and you understand and you grow, and I think spiritual things that we do that adds a lot of realization, self-realization in that process. It is like you're at ease, you understand why things are the way they are, or you have self-realization for yourself on what you do, and how you can improve it. Nobody's perfect, of course, but at least you're knowing what's not right and what's not. Sometimes many people, like, they won't even know and they will do it, like just kind of getting to the state of realizing the world, realizing yourself, how things should be, or why they are that way.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think if when we are all in this group, there's something that we all are asking, right? Why we are, who we are, or even self-transformation, like we want to transform through all the struggles that we've been facing. So, and yeah, so I feel that the path to self-realization goes through self-transformation, to liberation, to self-realization. So self-transformation is internal transformation of your negative mindset into positive one. Liberation is liberation from suffering, because suffering is very mind created. Um, pain, there's a quotation, I think, by Lao Tzu or somebody, that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Suffering is what meaning we give to that pain, what narrative we hold towards the challenges that life throws to us. So when that narrative is negative, we suffer. Why me? Why this happened to me? We just go rattle in that, and that's where. So through self transformation, we kind of liberate ourselves with that narrative that we hold, um, you know, to that pain, and then comes self-realization. At least that has been my journey, and that's how I think that these are kind of, yeah, related. So go ahead, Rachna.
Oh, this is super interesting. I was thinking about the order very differently. I was thinking
Okay.
about one, first you realize about yourself, because unless you know yourself, how do you transform? And then once you transform, you go towards liberation, because transformation takes you towards being able to detach yourself from suffering, like you said, or extreme emotions. I don't know, that's how I was thinking. So the way you said it is super interesting. Curious to know more.
I think self-realization is much, much, much more. And I've had very brief episodes, and maybe people who are here meditators like Prem, maybe they've also had some brief episodes of just realizing who you are. And we are not, and that realization of who we are is so profound. It's like we are not our bodies, we are not our names, we're so much more than this. And that's what my definition of self-realization is, just realizing to the truth of who we are and how much we are loved, and the narratives and the storylines that we are placed in is like so minuscule compared to the vastness of who we are. And that realization is like, it goes, so I'll tell you more. So let's see here. So how about somebody volunteer to read this? Who will volunteer to read this?
I can do that.
Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Go
if you
slow.
want to, yeah, I'll go slow. If you want to awaken all of humanity, then awaken to yourself. If you want to eliminate the suffering in the world, then eliminate all that is dark and negative in yourself. Truly, the greatest gift you have to give is that of your own self-transformation.
Yeah. So that's the kind of a gist of what I was getting to, was this is the journey to that, is like, from self-transformation to liberation from suffering, and then you realize or come to that awakening of who we truly are. But yeah, it's a very deep, it's a very heavy topic as well, all these three. So let's go into it one by one, and feel free to interrupt me anytime or share your thoughts that come in or your experiences. Anything is fine. Okay, cool. So self-transformation. So what is self-transformation? And the way I think of self-transformation is, as I said, going from whatever is running the narrative of your life and taking control of that. So there are a few things that I've learned along the way. And one is this model of Sigmund Freud. He was a psychoanalyst, and I think he was a neuroscientist or somebody like that in the science field. And he created this model because he was the founder of psychoanalysis. And in psychotherapy, Sigmund Freud is really, really, really popular. And what he learned, or what he created was, and this is now the model that everybody in psychotherapy, in science, and whoever is studying quantum physics or other things, they're very deeply looking into this, that actually we are in control for the 10% of our lives, what's happening in our lives. And rest is kind of on an autopilot, auto run mode. Our conscious mind that we are aware of, our willpower, all the decisions that we take, is only 10% of it. Rest is all underneath the surface. All the memories, all the habits, everything else is like deep down. And so there's subconscious, and then there is unconscious, which you're not even aware about. And that's like 90% of what is driving our lives. So this is, I don't know, have you heard of this before? Have you seen this image before? It's kind of very, very, very popular these days.
So I was reading Atomic Habits, James Clear. He was using unconscious mind and subconscious mind interchangeably, and he coined a new different term that I forgot
Conscious.
now. Sorry?
Is it superconscious?
No, it was something else, because he's like, I don't want to get into, subconscious, unconscious, they mean the same, so let me just
Yeah.
stay away. So, seeing it this way, that there are two different things, and the unconscious is like, is it in your sleep state, or
Yeah.
just like curious questions.
Yeah, totally. And subconscious and unconscious, I would just also intermingly, use. So there are, people talk about conscious, subconscious, and then there is super conscious. And I think when we go into meditations, that's what we do. We are in our awake state, and then we go deep into our subconscious. And sometimes the emotions arise, or, what you want to do in your life, those things arise, or, so basically that's the goal of meditation, just to go into deep states. And sometimes we connect to the superconscious, which is like a God mind, if you have to say so, where everything is connected. So yeah, subconscious is holding beliefs, patterns, fears, are from not only from this lifetime, from your childhood, from when you were in your mother's womb, but also from your past lives, also from your genetics that have been carrying, like, if something happened to your ancestors and there was this deep, um, trauma that has been there in the generational, history, it passes on through your genetics in you as well. And those are all stored in the in the unconscious. So I don't know if you guys watched that not a documentary, that series, that Israeli series that I posted in our Facebook group about 3 girls, and how, I don't know, that there was a Netflix series which is kind of based on this, and how they were exploring different past memories. So, okay, let's take another question. Arun.
Hey, sorry. I mean, yeah, you can complete your thought. I hope I didn't interrupt your. Yeah, that was not my intent. Okay, so I love this diagram, and I completely agree with like the process and the previous steps that you mentioned. That has also been my journey. So you put in the wisdom in your mind to transform yourself, right? And then yeah, you go through the process of, you may experience bits and pieces of liberation through it, and sustaining it in the longer term, right? So that's a great thing. And even here, the diagram is wonderful, with I think all the great with the right attributes that I have experienced. But one question I have in my mind is, it was interesting to know that the subconscious does not judge and the conscious mind can analyze, because that's something that I have been personally struggling with. I do a lot of analysis, and sometimes I feel those analysis are not conscious. So I'm wondering if the tendency to analyze and see what is right, what is wrong. So those kind of thoughts that come in your head, could that be subconscious, or is it always conscious? And I thought any like judgment, and it says subconscious does not judge. So where is any judgment coming, in which layer? So I think those are my questions in this diagram.
Yeah. I think mind is the one that judges. Just some overall mind, a mind is a chatterbox, and it's always like tuck, 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 because call it mind, call it ego, or, I don't know, those are like very high level this thing. But so conscious mind, say conscious mind or something, and then at the deep core, we are all love, we are all pure, we are all high vibrational beings. But on the surface, with the narrative that we have been playing in the world that we have been, we are playing a part. So that's where, when we are interacting with this 3D duality, dual world, is I don't know, I kind of lost my train of thought. So our mind is a chatterbox, right? So that mind is the one who judges, who's kind of always making you like this or that, and it's never settled. But when you kind of like sit in the meditation, or when you kind of still that mind a little bit, it's never 100% quiet. But when you kind of learn to not pay attention too much on it, and kind of center yourself and still through meditation or through whatever technique, then you kind of go touch your subconscious. And when, like, so for me, in the night, I do my journaling and my meditation. And when I sit down and there is something bothering me, and I sit down and I start writing down, what is it actually bothering me? What I start to break down the things that are bothering me, or the things that are playing in my life, and then try to answer or see that the narrative that I've been adding, is it true? No, it maybe that person is somebody's thinking about something else, and they were not focusing on me, and I'm thinking that they're trying to hurt me, or blah blah blah, whatever the story is, right? So in that I kind of break down that definition and try to not put a negative image narrative to it, and add it through see it through a positive lens. And I think that's what it's kind of in that state where you can start to program your subconscious. Subconscious, whatever fears, whatever beliefs, whatever. So the book I shared recently in a WhatsApp group about biology of belief from Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's a biologist, and he has kind of summed up in that book is the beliefs that we hold are the things that run our life. The belief about whether we'll be rich, or am I always fat, I gain weight easily, or this doesn't happen, or money is so difficult to make, or my life is difficult, or people are always mean to me, blah, 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 whatever. So some things we are born with in the storylines that we're born with, and they are added to us through our bachpan se, whatever. But as once we become aware and we start questioning, like, what is life, what is this, and we start our journey to self-transformation, we kind of start changing that narrative, right? That so and so person was maybe so I've like, whatever. I mean, I'm kind of, this is a big tangent we can all go into, but kind of getting to the gist of it. I don't know if it makes sense, a little bit of it, but let's take to another question. Shikha.
Okay, so I read about I was introduced about the concept of subconscious mind through this book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And then I've started reading some of the books from Abraham Hicks, like Hay House Publications. And my take from these books is that our beliefs are nothing but the thoughts that we keep thinking. Okay, so the repeated thoughts change into our beliefs. All right.
Yeah.
And it's like, every word we say is an affirmation. Everything that we talk about, everything that we are thinking, so everything is an affirmation. And over a period of time, it kinds of, gets impregnant into our subconscious mind. And then it comes to play without us being realized that, we are doing it. So it's kind of an autopilot thing. All right.
Yeah.
And it's very true that our life, the subconscious runs our life. And in the book, it was also mentioned the place of the subconscious. So some say it is like, behind our head. It's a mind behind our head. And some say it is in our abdomen also, because, when you have this feeling of fear, or some tragedy happens or something, so there's a fluttering feeling that you get in your abdomen, in your lower abdomen. So so they say that is also a store of your subconscious mind. And then I was introduced to abdominal breathing, okay, wherein you kind of breathe through your abdominal, keeping your hand here, and then the thoughts come, and you kind of work on your subconscious mind. So that was my understanding of the whole thing. And it is purely our belief that that kinds of manifest into our experiences. Okay, and if we want something, we cannot want something from a place of our lack. Like, we believe that we are poor, but we want to be rich. So this cannot happen, so there's not an alignment between what we think and what we want. And one more very good thing that I learned by reading these books was that we don't get what we want, we get to what we put our attention to. So I may want to have a good job, but then if I'm putting all my attention into my current job, which I may not like, then I'm not going to attract a good job. So it really doesn't matter what I want unless I put my attention into it. And then the subconscious, of course, plays a big role into it. So that is my little knowledge about what subconscious actually is, and how it affects our life and how it runs. And it can be changed by just by changing your thoughts. So it is very simple, basically. But it's just that, how many of us know how to do it, So you change your thought and you change your life. And that is really, really true.
Yeah, it's about the awareness of what's going on, what chatter is going on in your mind. Yeah, but you summed it well. Yeah. Yep, that's true. And yeah, some of the topics that you touched is also goes into law of attraction. And we can talk about it also another time. So Rachna, you want to say something? Thank you, Shikha.
First, I'll say, yeah, super powerful, Shika. Great reminders. It was a great summary of a few of the books that I have been reading as well. And I think I'm answering my own question, but wanted to kind of just say it out there. So, with this picture, it's like you're transforming, self-transformation through meditation. You're getting deep into your subconscious mind and changing probably your fears, your beliefs to project, like Shika was saying. And through that, you're liberating yourself from fear and from suffering. And then through that liberation, you realize that, oh, you hold this power within you, and like this is what you can do and you can achieve through the journey. So that's how I'm reading, like connecting this to the previous slide you had.
Yeah, actually, that's a good segue into our next thing is like, how can we make the unconscious conscious? Like what we're not even aware about, like how do we start paying attention to it? And I found this, and take time to just read through is, but I think meditation is so powerful in these ways is like you get to, so these arrows show like every time you go deeper into the deeper states of meditation, you get to tap into that deep levels of subconscious and look into the beliefs that and see and analyze that what's serving me and what not serving me, and should I stick to this belief or do I get, so we all have the power to change the beliefs that we have been holding. We all have the power to change the thoughts that are constantly running in our minds, right? But it all comes through awareness. If we are not even aware and we are running on autopilot mode like a robotic lives, that's what the narrative, whatever is going on, will keep running our lives. But once you kind of still down, slow down, go internal and start paying attention to what is running in my life, what's going on, what are the thoughts that I'm holding. And once you start this meditation journey, initially it's difficult, but slowly over the period of time, it becomes like you become aware of your thoughts as you're talking to people. Like sometimes it is so powerful that when as we're talking to people, you'll realize, oh, how is your judgy mind judging this, or what belief you're holding this, or you're automatically first defining the situation to be a negative one, and you start changing that narrative on the go in your waking life, in your, and once you start doing that, that's where the self transformation of your negative thoughts and negative narratives start coming in.
I'm a little confused why the highest self and spiritual connection is within the domain of the unconscious mind. So can you explain that?
So why is the what domain? The spiritual is the unconscious
Yes.
mind?
Yeah,
Yeah.
inside the domain of unconscious mind, you have points such as highest self and spiritual connection.
Yeah. So this is the self-realization part of the deepest core of, so I would say unconscious mind is the superconscious mind, which is also God consciousness. It's like when you go deep into that deep layer of internal self of your mind, is like where everything else is connected. You are connected to all the thought forms, all the energy, everything, and everything is available to you. And I would say it's like that's where you realize this, who you are and what we are and how we are all one. We have read this many times that we are all one, but to actually witness that, it comes through deep meditations, through that tapping into that delta brain waves. So there are, brain has cycles and patterns, and I kind of wrote a blog about that, but it was from a different perspective. But it is like, so this is our awake state where a brain is, regular cycles. It is running on a regular cycle. When we are in alpha and theta, it kind of slows down. So alpha is like when you're in a creative state, when you are working on an art project or playing music or making music. And then theta is like a state when you are in between sleep and waking state, like before you're about to go to sleep, just about that, when you're in that state. And delta is when you're in deep sleep. So in delta, It's like they say that, you astral travel when you are in your dream state, call it a dream state also, when you are tapping into much more than this physical level. And that's where everything else is connecting. And that's why it's very more spiritual and everything else. That your cellular memory, I have had an experience where, and it's kind of funny to say, but I'll say it. I had a meditation experience where I went into delta, and beyond delta, there is a state called gamma state. And it's not shown here, but gamma is a very high active state. And while I was in that delta gamma state, it was like, I kind of had visions of how the creation happened. Like those memories from the start of whatever you want to call it, I was not intelligent enough to make or understand them fully. What am I seeing? But it's like everything, all the data that exists, you are tapping into that realm. So I don't know if it makes sense, but yeah.
I have a question. So, can these brain waves be induced consciously, or like you said, alphas when we are in a creative state and thetas when we are like about to sleep? And so, can they be induced through meditation or any other way? Or I mean, can a conscious mind play a role in inducing these brain waves?
Yeah, meditation. It's through meditation, you start quieting your mind. And that's the goal of like Vipassana was like that for 10 days. So I had a very little or say brief experience. It was my first time, right? So I was able to see bodily sensations and everything, but there were people who have gone into these deep states through Vipassana, and they are like meditators for many years. So it's like, and that's why they say that they're doing it for 10 days. Like why is it mandatory for people to do it for the first time for 10 days? Because first 4 days, it just takes us consciously to bring our mind to a slower state. And then once you start staying in that slower state, you're like, okay, I'm not focusing whatever chatter is going on in my mind. I'm here. And then slowly you start shifting into the deeper states. So I think meditation. Shweta, you have something to say?
Yeah, no, if you have a lot more content, then we can keep going. But I was just kind of, thanks for bringing these diagrams and the topic. I would not otherwise think through these things, but just some of the questions that's coming. And if I, kind of relate some of the recent incidences, like if you had like trauma in your life and you feel like you have recovered it, you're functioning fine, you're happy, that's that your subconscious state, you're working it. But one fine day you get some question, and how that, like, in the previous diagram, it was like all trauma and stuff sitting in your unconscious mind. It can still like come up, and if it's still sitting there deep inside you, like you may not feel it every day, and you may have controlled it in your subconscious mind and how you're working. But I think the meditation is, that's when you realize that no, it's not fully gone. It's there somewhere in your unconscious mind. And probably the meditation, why it's here in the state, is that healing it yourself, you deep inside, where you don't even have that state there. It doesn't come back to you. I don't know if that makes sense, but there was some recent topic that came up, and I'm like, all good handling things and stuff, but then all of a sudden your voice get emotional, and I feel like, where did that come from? I don't think it bothers me anymore at all, but it's sitting somewhere now. If I relate to this diagram, probably in unconscious mind.
Yeah. So all these trauma or past memories or things like that, they're all in layers. They're layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers in our mind. So as we learn to heal, and so what are layers like? There are different neuroconnections in our brain, and there are strong neuroconnections. There are all sort of neuroconnections. When we start to meditate and consciously become mindful of our thought patterns, and we say that, no, this is not what we are choosing. I'm choosing to choose a different story. Or if trauma comes up, you become an observer of that trauma. Wow, I'm still holding this. Can I give it more love? Can I give it forgiveness? What is it asking me for? And you get past over that, so that past neural connection that was so strong in your brain starts to weaken, and there are new neurons that will start forming in your brain. So new connections, new stories, new narratives will start forming, and slowly over the period of time, this starts getting dissolved. So I would say is when past trauma that you felt that you have resolved comes up, take it as an opportunity. It's like, thank you, now I have an opportunity to heal this as well. So and welcome it, embrace it, love it, release it, forgive it, whatever it is demanding of you. And slowly over the period of time, you will see maybe few years down the line, it will just go away, and to a point where it will not even bother you, or it will completely wipe off. But that's the work that we got to do. Arun, you have a question?
Yeah. Thanks, Sarika. So just for my understanding, in the previous slide, we did see that the unconscious mind had very negative states, right? Like feeling bad about yourself and all that. So are we saying through the process of conscious meditation, the same unconscious mind holds the key for highest self and spiritual connection? Is that what this diagram implies? That we
Yeah.
change same unconscious mind into to give us the positive of the highest liberation. So it holds both the keys.
Yeah. So actually, in this diagram, there is a lot of negative written, but there's also a lot of good here. All the things, all the happy memories, all the good stuff is also in the subconscious, and the thing is that what do we choose to stick to? What do we choose to stick to is what runs through, right? So yeah, the key lies in becoming aware about your own self, like what narratives are we holding, what's coming up, and analyzing and scrutinizing, and like a self-inquiry thing. If the and the key lies through meditation is because meditation gives you that awareness. Otherwise we are on an autopilot mode, right? Like I said, in general in life, you are just running and reacting to everything that comes your way. But as you start to meditate more and more, you start to pause, and rather than reacting, you start to respond in a conscious way. And that's how things start changing. Or yeah, let's go into the next slide, and I think it'll become more clearer maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, so making the unconscious conscious. So I'll share a couple of things that have helped me in my journey, and I welcome you all. We are all self-healers, so, and through our journeys, we are learning from each other what has helped. So I welcome everybody to give their inputs. Yeah, first thing that helped me was gaining new knowledge by reading and researching. And everything I've learned is like from books, from documentaries, from this thing. And there are topics like the questions that we are raising right now. I would just go to Google and, or YouTube and try to seek answers. And I think that has been the one most important thing for me. Also, apart from learning, it is like applying those things in your life. Whatever we read about, whatever we learn about, if it resonates, if you're not applying. And then the second thing was, one thing I've clearly understood is that we cannot blame anybody else apart from our own self for our lives or anything that is running in our lives. We can't blame our parents, we can't blame our bosses, we can't blame our friends, we can't blame our spouses, nobody. Our life and our happiness is 100% in our hands. And if somebody else has a power to make us unhappy, then we're losing our power. That's our power. and nobody can take that. So full ownership of our life is in our hands. Meditation then taught me mindful awareness to become conscious of my thought patterns and ego noise. So this is the noise of the ego. Ego is showing me, okay, this person did so to me. Oh, this is how I'm getting hurt. This is blah, 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 all the blah, blah, blahs. I became aware about those because of meditation journey that I started around 10 years back. And every time I became aware of that noise that ego was putting in my head, I would say, okay, what would love do? What would, how can, if there are two forks to this, I can respond it this way, or I can respond it this way. What would love do? And what would God want me to do? So choosing love always versus ego. And I would say, I make you lose ego. I'll do this instead. If I fought with my husband about something and I don't want to talk to him, and then I'm like, okay, no, first he should come and talk to me or something. I'm just throwing an example here. And my husband always says me that you always put me under the bus, like sharing my examples. But so I would be like, what would ego made me do? Ego will say, don't talk to him. Let him come and talk to you. This is this, this is this. He should do this. It was his fault. And as I would ask, what would love make me do? Love would say, it's okay, go talk to him. It's okay, whatever happened in the past. Why are you ruining your today because of the past? What happened? Just talk. So I'll say, okay, whatever love makes me choose. In every situation, I would ask this question: what would ego make me do? What would love make me do? And I'll always go with what will love make me do. So it's like that bachpan mein we used to see those cartoons, angel and devil sitting, and angel saying this and devil saying this. I think it's so true. Self-inquiry. Yeah, every situation in my life, every big challenge that comes up, I always go into self-inquiry. I'll break down that problem on a paper and a pad and just write down, what are my thoughts about this? Is it actually true? What can I change about it? Or how can I give it a different story? Meaning so choosing more empowering thoughts than the limiting thoughts. How can I change the narrative of that challenge so that there is more power in it? It's more positive versus negative. Yeah, constantly changing the narrative of my inner dialogue. It's not a one-day practice. It's not a 1 month practice. It's a way of life that becomes. Because mind is like that. Mind will always be chattery. Mind will always be judgy. Mind will always be this. And it's my own mind. So, but the power is in me to choose, right? Where do I keep quiet? I'm not listening to you, or this is what and it's practice, practice, practice. It's never a battle won. It's always a journey there. So, yeah. And self-love, a lot of self-love. I realized the most difficult person for me in my life was my own self. I was very harsh on me. I was very demanding on me, and I was very impatient with my own self. And I was like, if this person did this, like, okay, so it was, first of all, the whole journey started with self-love, being patient with myself. I did a lot of Louise Hay. I think we shared in our group on WhatsApp was Louise Hay's book. I'm forgetting her book name. The Power to Heal, or Heal Your Life, something like that. And in that book, she talks about mirror work. So Louise Hay healed people with AIDS in 1980s or 90s. And people were going through AIDS, and there were no cure for it. And when she started teaching this, she would gather circles, and what she would do is hand people a mirror, and she would say, look into that mirror, look into yourself, look into your eyes deeply in that mirror, and talk to yourself, and talk to yourself like you're your best friend, you're your own parent, and love yourself. And whatever loving words you want to hear from the world, you have to say those loving words to your own self. And when I first read this book, and I went to my mirror and I stood in front of the mirror, first of all, I realized I've never looked at myself deeply in the mirror. I've always looked at my hair, my eyes, my makeup, my shirts, my clothes, but I've never looked at myself in my eyes, into my own self. And that was kind of very haunting. Like when I first did it, I was like spooked by myself, like, and the more I did, there used to be times I used to cry, like just standing and looking deeply in my own eyes. I would highly recommend this practice as like, just go look into yourself, into your eyes, nowhere else, deep into your eyes, go deep inside your eyes and talk to yourself. Assure yourself life will be okay. This is a difficult day, you'll get through. Be your parent, be your best friend, love yourself there. And that you are the best. I love you. Tell yourself, I love you, that you're the best person out there. And it is magical. I tell you, it heals some part of you that has always been craving for love or looking for approval from others or acceptance from others. Like as children, we have been looking for approval from our parents, then, spouses or loved ones or friends or children. It's nobody else can provide you the love that you can provide for yourself. That's like, that was a huge for me. Affirmations, like Shikha said, positive reinforcement, yeah, that's what every thought is an affirmation, that every thought you say about anything about, is an affirmation. So make it positive, make it working for you. Focusing on gratitude was another thing. Yeah, that whatever I have in my life, I'm grateful for. And then once you start focusing, and this is my daily practice, even till today, is like every night I would sit with my journal and write down all the things that I was grateful for in that day, what went well, and how did it make me feel. And with that energy, because that will, the moment you start giving thanks to what is going perfect in your life, it's like it brings you to a higher level. Your energy rises, you're more in heart, and from there, when you set your intentions for your future or for your next steps or whatever you want clarity on, it will take that gratitude energy into that, and it just manifests so easily. Then visualization and intention setting. Okay, intention setting. I do intention setting even for my meetings when I go into, like if I'm into an interview or into a call or important presentation, how do I want this meeting to go? What is my intention out of this? What is the outcome I want out of it? And I set that before I go into that. So intention setting is powerful. And visualizing the outcome I want. And when I'm visualizing, like, so this is my like night routine, focusing on gratitude and then going into the visualization of what is the future or what is the next day or what is and visualizing with all your senses. I write down actually this narrative. And every time I've gone on a vacation, I've always visualized the weather was perfect, everything was harmony, everything was peace, blah, 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 whatever. And, and when I'll come back and I look back into my journal, it has happened, the exact same way. In fact, we went on a Grand Canyon hike with my hiking group in October, and we prepared for like 108 degrees Fahrenheit temperature, that it would be so hot. People had gone there before and everything. And I visualized it would be a perfect day. It was nice. And very surprisingly, on that day, just for one day, the whole day was cloudy. We woke up with rain. And the whole day it was cloudy. And people were like, well, rain gods are on our side. It's like the whole cloudy day throughout the day. And the very next day was again 104, 105 degrees. So I don't know what, but it works like magic. So yeah. Shadow work. Shadow work was another big thing, was like Shweta mentioned. What if something arises? What if the past that you've thought has you resolved? Anything that arises that is not making you at peace, it's unsettling, sit with it. Don't try to shove it. And this is before my meditation journey started or anything started, I would push away what is not working. Like, this is not good, I don't want to look at it, let me just focus on the positive. And that's not what spirituality is. Not just focusing on the positive is not what spirituality is. Spirituality is embracing the darkness within. And darkness is the pain also, so whatever arises within, if it is a difficult day or if it is whatever it is, sit with it. What is it making you do? Face it with courage. I don't care whatever you're making me feel. I'll just sit with it. I'll feel it where it sit in 5 minutes, 10-minute meditation. Whenever I'm in a noisy, whenever I'm in a unsettled state, I just take my time out, go into my bedroom, keep my kids out, like don't disturb me for 10 minutes, close my doors and just sit in that meditation. Like, why are you so overwhelmed? What's going on within you? And I will start talking to that darkness within, and I will go internally, sit in that meditation, take few deep breaths and connect with it. I'm feeling it in my heart. I'm feeling it in my gut, and I'm feeling it in my throat. Where are these emotions lying and what are they making me feel? And whatever it's making you feel, just embrace that. I love you. I'll sometimes do some little ho'oponopono on it, that I'm sorry, whatever is arising in there. I don't know where it's coming from, but I love you and I thank you. It's okay. And there's so much power in it when you embrace that darkness. The moment you give it your attention and your love, it just leaves. It just goes, it melts away, dissolves, it becomes light, you become light, and you're like, that's all it needs. And we are trying to push it away, that don't come to me. I want to change my day. I want to get out of it. I want to make it beautiful. I want to make it happy. I will just want to be happy always, you know. So happiness and sadness always comes and goes, and it's a, so when you start to enjoy your sadness and embrace that darkness, that's when the transformation happens. That's the liberation. That's the, you know, darkness has no power over you. And when you embrace your pain, it's, you're liberated from it. And there are some biohacks that I use a lot. And there are tons of free resources on YouTube, subliminals and binaurals. These are audio tones. So binaurals are two different tones that are played in your ears. And there are certain frequencies. So all our body is vibrating, right? Every cell of a body is vibrating at all the times. Everything in the universe is vibrating at certain frequency. So there's a frequency of harmony and there's a frequency of chaos, let's say. So when we listen to something harmonious, like play happy music or om chants or binaurals, you know, so they will through its resonance frequency. So they are vibrating at certain frequency. All our body and our whole of our cells will also start vibrating at that frequency. And suddenly we will be out of that chaos. Just our frequency will change. So that's another hack. And then there's subliminals. And subliminals are basically, they would be audios with the affirmations. I'm positive, I'm blah, blah, blah. My life is good. My life is this, my blah, 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 whatever you want to say. Like, you know, there are subliminals for money. There are subliminals for career. There are subliminals on YouTube for love, attracting love. There are subliminals of all sorts that you want to do. So I went to, in 2021, we went to Bahamas, and I used to have a huge fear of water. Like, I never used to swim. And I wanted to learn to swim. And I was like, okay, let me see if I can use a biohack for it. 2 nights, I played subliminals while I'm sleeping on a very low volume that, you know, I would play in my headphones, subliminals to get over water phobia. And somehow my subconscious fear about water was subsided. And the third day, we were there for 4 or 5 days. And the third day, I had signed up for a swimming with dolphin experience, actually, and we had paid a lot for it. So I was like, if I won't be able to swim, you know, I won't be able to, like, it's a 10 feet deep pool. And I was so traumatic inside. If I have to look inside, it's scary for me. So I did the subliminal hack for 2-3 days. I constantly played it in my head. And then one day in the morning, I decided I will learn to swim today. And I looked at YouTube videos on how to swim. My brother learned swimming through watching YouTube videos. So I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. And I went with the goggles and with my daughter there as my coach and the YouTube video instructions. And whole day I kept swimming in the pool. Like, first I was not even able to like look inside 3 feet. And then slowly I was able to 3 feet. And then I was able to monitor my breath and everything. And at the end of the day, I was swimming in the 6 feet pool. I did not still today don't know how to breathe like for a long time in the pool. So I'll do laps and then I would come on. So once I take a breath and go do laps again. And that helped me with my dolphin experience. So dolphins actually took me in the 10 feet pool and they stranded me there. And I was just there. And I was like, if I wasn't prepared, I would have like panicked or drowned or whatnot. I don't know. But they, the people who were there, lifeguards, they said, just stay there. Don't worry. We'll come. And it took them some time to reach to me and rescue me or whatever. But yeah. So my fear of water is not there as much as it used to be. Guided meditations, yeah, there are tons of guided meditations, from visualizations to whatever challenges that you're facing in your life. I use that for, visualizing my interview went well, or I got a raise, I got a promotion, I got a vacation, happy vacation, whatever are your life goals, use them for that. And yeah. Self-hypnosis, there are a lot of hypnosis videos as well. So, and sometimes I get challenged with losing weight, or, I want to eat healthy and I have a lot of sugar craving and other things. So I use self-hypnosis there. But yeah. So yeah, those are the things. So transformation happens and it gradually happens, but it requires honesty and commitment. And this is my favorite image, because that's how it happens when I'm talking to someone, and inside in my mind, I'm like thinking like, am I judging here? Am I doing this? What is this? And how do I change the story? So it's like always your mind is one set of mind is always focused on that. Yeah. And science is talking a lot about this, like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden, a lot of scientists are not talking about this, that it is basically neuroplasticity, connections of the new neurons in the brain. So resolving the old connections, old patterns that brain has formed through years of programming from the bachpan say, or from the past that we have been holding. And once you start reprogramming, there are new connections that happen, and the old ones slowly start getting dissolved, and they will, so whatever you don't use, you lose. So all the stories you don't use, all the past that you don't use, you start losing all that narrative. All right, let's take a pause here. What's next? Okay. Yeah, we will go there one more. Who will read this? Actually, that is a segue into a next topic, and I don't think we have more time left. So Rachna, why don't you read this and we'll wrap up from here.
Okay. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. You've heard that before, right? Pain is nothing but an intense sensation. Yet, do not justify or encourage pain. Some people start justifying and encouraging pain, and that is where masochism starts. You need to stay clear of masochism. And that is why I would say if pain comes, it has come due to some karma. That's it. Move on. The principle of karma is such a healthy thing to save the mind. It's such a good vaccination for the mind. When you say karma, then you are able to let go and move on. Otherwise, you brood over whatever has happened in the past and you try to link things with some cause. Shri Shri Ravi Shankar.
Thank you. Right. Thoughts, inputs. And with this, we'll go into karma, or the next topic whenever we get the next chance, into nirvana, moksha, liberation, and self-realization. I have some more slides, but not today. What's up? Everybody's so quiet.
There's just so much greatness in those tips. It's like so many things, and how do you make use of it and transform as a result. There's just too much goodness in that slide, the previous one, I thought.
Okay, I had one question. What is masochism?
Masochism is when you start taking pleasure of in pain. Like start you so and this is true because sometimes we there is some pleasure in pain. Like there are times when people will be, I have some friends and they'll be like, oh meri saas ye karti hai, mera wo ye karta hai, wo karta hai, wo karta hai, blah 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 blah. I'm like, nahi, you can transform this narrative, but they don't want to because there is so much of drama and excitement and enjoyment in that we want to keep running that story, and that's cool too. Whatever it's like so, but there is a pleasure in pain. Yeah, that's what the word means.
I have one question.
Go ahead,
So
Vitali.
I was actually reading this, and the principle of karma is such a healthy thing to save the mind. What does that actually mean? So, like, if anything comes, then if we say it's due to karma, and obviously we know it's due to karma, what do we do about it? We just move on, or do we like think more about it, or maybe do some actionable items? But and especially this particular sentence is still, I'm not able to clear the principle of karma is such a healthy thing to save the mind. Like, do you want to save that in your mind and refer it for later?
So I think BK Shivani, have you heard about BK Shivani? There is this
Yes.
yeah. So BK Shivani says it very beautifully. She says karma is like so in this life you're seeing that somebody is mean to you, right? Or something is happening, or there's difficult person in your life, and you're just seeing this life and you're saying that usne mere upar ye ball pheki, right? Why is he throwing this ball on me? Or somebody, right? But you don't know, or you don't remember that in the past life you have thrown that ball to them, and now they're throwing it back to you. So you have also done something to them that you don't remember, and it's so universe is always in balance. What you give is you get, and that's the law of karma, is like whatever we have given, we have to endure it as well. And we'll talk more about it in our past life hypnosis. So we have a talk coming up, and there is a hypnotherapist who's coming, Karuna Jain, and maybe we should save this question for her, and we will talk about it more there. And also in the next session that we will do for the continuation of this one, then we'll go touch more on that. Cool. But yeah, I would highly recommend check out BK Shivani on Karma YouTube. Yeah, you'll get some good answers from there. All right, guys. I think we are over time. I don't know. Shritika said that we will do Om chanting, but I don't know if we have time today.
Yeah, no, I sorry, maybe I didn't read it correctly. I thought we are going to do it together, but yeah, it's totally fine. But I love Om chanting. So
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
And I
so-
love what you said today. It was beautiful session. So much information.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, we are starting the Om chanting as our next month meditation challenge, and that's what it was. So I've created a video. I was like, okay, I need a video to stay on track because it's easy to play and just follow through. So yeah, I've added a video for that, and we'll see how it goes. I was a little skeptic because early in the mornings when I do meditation, everybody else is sleeping. And I was like, here in the morning, I'll start in my own voice, and everybody will like, go pagal ho rahi hai. So we'll see. But I'll say this is part of my meditation challenge. I can't help it. So we'll do that together.
But isn't it good? Everybody will wake up to such a beautiful sound, Om.
A beautiful sound तो मेरे कान में होगा, वो बाहर जो उनको सुनाई दे रहा होगा वो मेरा साउंड होगा, वो beautiful होगा नहीं होगा I don't know. मुझे तो beautiful लग रहा होगा, but I hope.
No, your voice is mesmerizing, Sarika. It is. The meditation that we do, it is very mesmerizing. No, I'm sure Om will be the same.
Yes.
No, you have no idea how my family makes fun of me. Ki, जब सुबह ना, I signed up for a singing class because I can never sing, and this is one affirmation I have to change. I am a very good singer. So I was not able to sing, and in COVID, I signed up for online singing classes. Or in that, you have to practice the ragas, sa, re, ga. Or usme every day I would be, and I was like, man, I can sing. I used to think I'm doing so well, like sa, re, ga, ma, pura, and then you have to go up and then you have to bring it down. And I would do it for 20 minutes, 50, whatever time allowed. And one day my daughter recorded that session chup karke piche se, and she was like, Mom, you need to hear your own voice. This is a torture on us. Can you please not do it? Can you do it in backyard or something? मैं सुबह उठ के backyard में कहाँ जाऊँगी? So after that, I've realized, hearing my own voice, कि उतना भी नहीं है. So cool, guys. Awesome. You guys have a great weekend ahead. We'll see you next week.
Thank you very much. That was
Thank you,
very
Sarika.
therapeutic.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
Sarika.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.